Welcome to today's Catholic Daily Readings from Christus Dominus Bread of Life. A reading from the book of Exodus. And they set out from Elim, and the entire multitude of the sons of Israel arrived at the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month, after they departed from the land of Egypt. And the entire congregation of the sons of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the sons of Israel said to them, "If only we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat around bowls of meat and ate bread until we were full. Why have you led us into this desert, so that you might kill the entire multitude with famine?" And the Lord said to Moses, "Behold, I will rain down bread from heaven for you. Let the people go out and collect what is sufficient for each day, so that I may prove them, whether they will walk in my law or not. But on the sixth day let them prepare what they use for bringing in, and let there be double what they were accustomed to collect each day." And Moses said to Aaron, "Say to the entire congregation of the sons of Israel, approach before the Lord, for he has heard your murmuring." And when Aaron spoke to the entire assembly of the sons of Israel, they looked out toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in a cloud. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "I have heard the murmuring of the sons of Israel. Say to them, in the evening you will eat meat, and in the morning you will be filled with bread, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God." Therefore it happened in the evening, quails rising up covered the camp. Likewise in the morning a dew lay all around the camp, and when it had covered the face of the earth it appeared in the wilderness, small and as if pounded with a pestle, similar to hoarfrost on the ground. And when the sons of Israel had seen it, they said one to another, "Manhu," which means in our language, "What is this?" For they did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, "This is the bread that the Lord has given you to eat."
The Lord gave them bread from heaven. They tempted God in their hearts by demanding the food they craved. Yes, they spoke against God, saying, "Can God spread a table in the desert?" The Lord gave them bread from heaven. Yet he commanded the skies above, and the doors of heaven he opened. He rained manna upon them for food, and gave them heavenly bread. The Lord gave them bread from heaven. Man ate the bread of angels. Food he sent them in abundance. He stirred up the east wind in the heavens, and by his power brought on the south wind. The Lord gave them bread from heaven. And he rained meat upon them like dust, and like the sand of the sea winged fowl, which fell in the midst of their camp, round about their tents. The Lord gave them bread from heaven.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. In that day, Jesus, departing from the house, sat down beside the sea, and such great crowds were gathered to him that he climbed into a boat and he sat down, and the entire multitude stood on the shore. And he spoke many things to them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went out to sow. And while he was sowing, some fell beside the road, and the birds of the air came and ate it. Yet truly others fell upon stony ground, where it did not have much earth. And it rose up immediately, because it had no depth of earth. But when the sun rose up, it was scorched, and because it did not have roots, it withered away. Yet others fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and suffocated it. Still others fell upon good ground, and they produced fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Whoever has ears to hear, let him hear. Join us for today's reflection. You've been free from slavery for exactly 1 month. God just delivered you from 400 years of oppression through 10 miraculous plagues and a supernatural sea crossing. You're finally free, finally safe, finally heading toward the promised land. So naturally, you complain about the food. If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted, but you have brought us out into this desert to starve this entire assembly to death. This is the Israelites speaking. The same people who cried out for deliverance from Egyptian slavery are now romanticizing their oppression because wilderness freedom doesn't include a meal plan. They're experiencing selective memory at its finest. They've conveniently forgotten the beatings, the forced labor, the murdered children. All they remember are the pots of meat. God's response is astonishing. He doesn't rebuke them. He doesn't remind them of what they've forgotten. He doesn't give them a lecture about gratitude. He feeds them. I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. Every morning, fresh bread covers the ground like dew. Every evening, quail arrive for dinner. God provides daily sustenance for people who are daily ungrateful. He feeds the complainers. This connects directly to Jesus' parable of the sower. A farmer goes out to sow seed, scattering it everywhere on paths, rocky ground, thorny soil, and good earth. Most of it gets wasted. Birds eat some, thorns choke some, shallow soil kills some. Only a small portion falls on good ground and produces a harvest. Any reasonable farmer would be more selective. Any smart businessperson would target their marketing. Any efficient organization would focus resources on the most promising prospects. But God operates differently. He scatters His grace everywhere, even on people who seem unlikely to respond well. He provides for complainers, rebels, and ingrates. He feeds people who don't deserve it and don't appreciate it. The manna in the wilderness reveals God's character. He's generous to the ungrateful, patient with the rebellious, and faithful to the unfaithful. He doesn't wait for people to earn His provision or prove their worthiness before He meets their needs. This is grace. Not giving people what they deserve, but giving them what they need. Not rewarding good behavior, but sustaining life regardless of behavior. The Israelites didn't deserve manna. They had just complained about God's leadership, questioned His goodness, and fantasized about returning to slavery. By any reasonable standard, they should have been disciplined, not fed. Instead, God says, I will rain down bread from heaven, not as a reward for good behavior, but as an expression of unchanging love. The parable of the sower shows the same principle. The farmer doesn't sow seed only on good soil. He scatters it everywhere, knowing most will be wasted, hoping some will take root. The generosity isn't efficient, but it's comprehensive. God's grace works the same way. He doesn't limit His provision to people who will respond perfectly. He spreads His blessings widely, knowing many will be unappreciated or misused, trusting that some will produce fruit. This should both humble us and comfort us. It should humble us because we're probably more like the complaining Israelites than we want to admit. How many times has God provided for us in ways we didn't recognize or appreciate? How often have we focused on what we lack instead of acknowledging what we've received? But it should also comfort us because God's provision doesn't depend on our perfection. He feeds complainers. He blesses the ungrateful. He provides for people who don't deserve it and don't always appreciate it. The manna came with instructions: gather only what you need for each day. This taught the Israelites to depend on God daily rather than hoarding for the future. It trained them to trust His ongoing provision rather than their own stockpiling. The seed in Jesus' parable carries the same message. God's provision comes regularly, generously, and regardless of how well we receive it. Some days we might be good soil, producing abundant fruit. Other days we might be rocky ground or thorny soil, wasting what we're given. But God keeps providing. He keeps scattering seed. He keeps raining down bread from heaven. Your current complaints about God's provision might be revealing the same selective memory that plagued the Israelites. You might be focusing on what you lack while forgetting what you've received. You might be romanticizing past circumstances while minimizing present blessings. But God's response to your ingratitude might be the same as His response to theirs: continued provision. Not because you deserve it, but because He's good. Not because you've earned it, but because He's faithful. He feeds complainers. He blesses the ungrateful. He provides for people who don't deserve it. That's grace, and that's the kind of God we serve.